morning and welcome to my office. This morning I want to talk about living betwixt two worlds. I remember once looking at a seismometer and observing to my surprise that it was continually active. I felt nothing under my feet, yet I learned that the earth is always experiencing some type of seismic disturbance on a continual basis. The earth is just never at rest, and similarly, neither are the inhabitants of the earth. Even on our best days, for many at least, there is that angst, that menacing sense of all is not well that prowls about the face of the earth. God's revelation doesn't leave us clueless concerning these tremors. Paul's description of a fallen creation in Romans 8 does not describe a primeval or pristine planet, but one that has been made subject to the pains of childbirth, metamorphically speaking, to say nothing of the mischief done topside. In addition to this apprehensive condition, Paul also informs us that the believer groans inwardly while waiting for their full redemption. So in the interest of being encouraged, how does one walk confidently between redemption and uncertain times while groaning in the time between? To try and answer this, I need to key in on that word groaning to say he isn't making the point that believers are groaning together, but that the believer groans along with a cursed creation. So is there some kind of reassurance implied here? I get it that misery loves company, but how is it that the earth is a kind of partner in suffering? Perhaps in some way when I look at creation as it is, unruly, unpredictable, polluted, abused by gypsy moths, I am reminded that its death and decay reflect our own experiences. Not only life's weals and woes, but foremostly grief from the presence of sin and evil. Remember that it was Lot living in Sodom, of whom it was said that his righteous soul was utterly tormented by having to see and to hear of their lawless deeds. The earth's predicament is a reminder that just as we cannot change its tremors as it rumbles under our feet, neither can we escape a world of which we must live out our lives. There is no escape from experiencing, as Lot did, the same torment and grief as we see sin and rebellion destroy the lives of others, including the foolishness of those who call evil good and good evil, knowing full well of the whirlwind that is being reaped and the suffering it inflicts on people. Yet it's important to remember that Jesus himself was a man of sorrows, as he also lived amongst such things, and so it is with anyone who understands this world's issues in truth. But the point I'm driving toward primarily is the acknowledgement that ultimately it is what it is. There is something in surrendering to what God has clearly foretold us that sets forth the conditions that allow peace and stability to enter our hearts and our lives. As often quoted by one sage, acceptance brings peace. The furniture has been scratched and dented, and there's no reason to have a hissy fit over those who put their dirty shoes on it. But Paul reminds us of a truth that makes all the difference between hope and despair, between joy and perpetual grief. He reminds us that the Spirit of God, who put this groaning within creation and ourselves, is the very one that gives you the ability to wait eagerly toward a future that is going to be put right. A reminder that things are not yet the way they are supposed to be, but that at every seismic disturbance, plague, along with every act of evil and injustice, only reminds us that not only does God's word always prove to be true, but there is a day coming and soon in which all will be put right. Christ himself will reign and bring justice, the earth will produce with abundance, and its people will form communities that love God and care for each other. So getting back to the question as how to walk between uncertain times and redemption, this provides us with a kind of anchor or railing as we walk through this world. That said, I am reminded of the writer of Hebrews who said, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. The fact of the matter is that Jesus had to patiently handle a world that rejected him and to atone for the weight of its sin. Yet he did so by looking to the certainty of future glory. And all this leaves us living in this irreconcilable condition whereby the numbing vexation of evil and folly may shake the ground under your feet, but future joy keeps us secure in our walk and gives us a life worth living. Thank you for listening. May God bless.